We are live and welcome to the Seven Cities Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting to you from the beautiful state of Virginia to everyone all over the world. I'm your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and I can tell you like this: we have a really good show. There's a lot of things to cover, some big happenings this week as well concerning the football team and something we touched on last week. We want to continue that conversation. But I may have some of my co-hosts pop in and out of the show as well. But before we get started, we want to thank you for joining us in another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. And I'm your host, Big Law, Lawrence Johnson, like I said. And let's just kind of go ahead and break the ice with what some of these topics are that I had here. This is what I had on the docket to talk about. Apparently, there's a big concert this weekend. Everyone's been talking about Luke Combs is coming to the football stadium, to Scott Stadium this weekend, and apparently it's sold out. Parking is sold out. It's like Charlottesville is going to be maxed out as far as capacity for humans in the square footage of the space of the university. I'm really interested in seeing what that actually looks like. I won't be able to go, but I'm very interested to see, number one, what the stadium looks like and feels like to have it totally maxed out. But we'll get into that because that's the first segment. Second segment we'll talk about is Chandler Morris. His court date is Thursday. And as it's Thursday, that is a big date because we'll be able to kind of get an idea and see what exactly this football team has to deal with, what all the signal callers they have. They have 3 full-blown starters if he comes back. I really don't know, what to do, but I have some hunches or some ideas. But what I want you guys to do is give me your predictions. Tell me what you think the prediction would be for Chandler Morris for this, what the verdict would be this Thursday. Also, we'll talk about the women's and men's basketball teams did extraordinarily well this year. We had a team that men's that won 30 games, and we also had a women's team that won, I think, 22 games and was a Sweet 16. The question to you, viewers and listeners, you can put it in the chat. And shout out to my folks in the chat as well. Do you think that UVA will reload, or you think they will fall back? That is a real question to talk about, especially in this day and age of the NIL and transfer portal that we're in now. What do you think they'll do? Will the basketball team continue to progress? Will they be, close to a 30-win team? Will they be a team that's second, third, first in the ACC coming next year? We can dissect that. And also the girls, we got to give them kudos and some credit. Got to talk about them as well. Will they progress or will they fall back coming in to next year? So that's the conversation we'll have. Also, and they had double-digit wins. Both men's football, men's basketball had double-digit turnaround wins for both of their seasons this year. What does that mean? That means that things were just phenomenal. And the women won, is it +7 more games, 8 games this year, and a Sweet 16 bid as well. This is more of a thread for congratulatory for those teams as well. So let's kind of go back up to the top and let's just talk about Luke Combs. Luke Combs is coming to Charlottesville. If you didn't buy your ticket in was it October, I think, when they started selling these tickets, I think that I think you're out of luck. If you did not get your Luke Combs tickets, I want to see a roll call of who's actually going to that concert, because quite frankly, that concert is going to be the biggest event in Charlottesville I think it's going to be bigger than any other football event. I don't think I've ever heard parking being sold out. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of parking being sold out in Charlottesville. Anything around the football stadium. So for me, I'm really want to see what that stadium looks like. And I don't want to say it like this. You know how you had, but I am gonna kind of reference it this way. You know how you had Metallica. Sorry about that, folks. Metallica at the Virginia Tech Stadium, and how they really blew it up out there and all that, and they measured on the Richter scale. I wonder what the stadium's going to be like for Luke Combs in this in Scott Stadium. I wonder will there be tailgating? One of my buddies, one of the guys who runs one of the tailgates, I asked him would there be folks out there tailgating, and he said he won't be out there, but there will be some tailgating going on out there. So that really makes me feel like, wow, this could be one of those kind of things, one of those situations where, it could be kind of an epic event. I really, what I want for all my viewers and listeners, shout out to all my viewers and listeners out there taking a peek. If you guys want to put your comments in, go ahead and throw them in. But I'm asking for a roll call. Who's going to Luke Combs this Saturday? Because that's going to be a big deal. But the thing is, I want to see some video. I want to see what this stadium's going to look like, full blown, wide open, with pretty much almost every seat in the house sold. They said there's nowhere to park, currently right now. And that's from the JPJ. I'm sorry, not JPJ. That's from Virginia parking, University of Virginia athletic parking. They're saying that everything is sold out. There is nowhere left to go. So, I wonder how many shuttles, and are they going to run it just like a football event? I would think that they kind of would. Maybe if like a Florida State came through, or like when you guys remember when Penn State came, it was just bedlams, wall to wall, just people everywhere. But thinking is it going to be that kind of a big event, and I think it is, being that they at first they didn't think that it would, I guess, sell out to the level that it did, and now they're expecting the whole stadium, 63,000 people. We can't get that many. We got into the 50s, mid 50s, high 50s, but I haven't seen it in quite a long time to see every seat filled. Of course, I'm a ticket season ticket holder wanting to do that and part of the press. I would really like to see that and experience it and see what the stadium's like when it's full of people cheering all in the same direction. I want to see what that feels like. But quick roll call for those out there and those taking a peek. I want to know if you guys are going to the concert, and if so, what time you getting there, and how many tickets you bought, how much it cost you, all that. I think that's cool that University of Virginia has gotten a big name like that to really fill out the football stadium. And what I understand, they're trying to do more stadium shows like this, where it's it's an environment where they just pack it out, and they want to turn Virginia into a mecca of entertainment. Obviously, you think there is no real professional team that's close. If you're talking Washington, there's teams up there, but for Central Virginia, this is kind of it. There is no real like football stadium in Richmond that really can hold that amount of people. Of course, you got the other school out west, but in coming east, you don't even have a school with or a facility that can hold 63,000 people. So being that Charlottesville has that, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great opportunity for Charlottesville to show all these entertainers that this is a great place to come if you want to sell for a big stadium environment. So shout out. And for those who are going, I want to see videos. Send me videos, send me pictures. I want to see what that environment is like when it comes to the Luke Combs concert. You know, a lot of people, and I can tell you this, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people posting about it, and they say that they're going. This is what I like to say. I like to say this is an event. Let's make it. Let's be safe out there, everyone. Let's make sure that we're doing the right thing. Let's not make it so that people will not come back to Charlottesville. But yeah, let's make it great. I mean, just from the synergy of having an 11-win football team, a lot of winning went on, a lot of positive things went on. Let's kind of keep that energy together and let's represent in the right way. So, good on Charlottesville, good on University of Virginia, and let's keep it cool and send pictures and enjoy yourselves for that incredible event. Next topic, we have Chandler's court date is Thursday. Okay, now this is gonna be a very sticky or not sketchy, but sticky situation where Chandler Morris, who was could we call him, the savior of University of Virginia football from the quarterback standpoint? I get it. Sometimes he made mistakes, but he was a quarterback that got us to 11 wins. And I know that we ran the ball, and we were a team that relied on the defense. It was always special teams as well, played tough, but you got to have a quarterback. I don't care if the quarterback is not a super duper top notch quarterback. I still think Chandler was better than what a lot of people thought he was going to be, and him having the kind of season that he did, helped get us to where he was, and his feet played a huge role in getting us a lot of those wins, a lot of those first downs, and getting to 11 wins. But his court date is Thursday. That's in 2 days. Are we ready or prepared to have 3 starting quarterbacks? Remember, a few years ago, we couldn't get one really good quarterback. I mean, I know that Calandria was considered a young, up-and-coming quarterback, but these guys are really good, legitimate Power 4 quarterbacks, P4 quarterbacks, and each of them has starting experience. Each of them have had a lot of success. Each of them are coming from winning programs. So, what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? If Chandler gets his wish and he is granted his 7th year of eligibility, 6th, 7th year of eligibility, we're rocking with 3 starting QBs, and a lot of them with a lot of experience. Now, for me, the prediction, I'm asking for your predictions on what do you think Chandler's gonna do, or where you think Chandler's gonna end up. Where the prediction is going to be from the verdict from the judge. For me, I think that Chandler's going to get it. I really do. I think Chandler's going to get the extra year that he wants. The difference is, to me, is what once Chandler gets it, I think I'm speaking into existence. I think it's going to happen. What is Pribula going to do? I always said, and they've always said, let the competition open up. Let's go ahead and let them fight for it. The question is, if you fight for it, will you have an opportunity if you take a year off to play again the next year? That's not a given in this landscape. They're already trying to zero in and crank down on players having extra years in the NCAA, especially when it comes to transfer portal. They're trying to make sure that players only have but so many opportunities to transfer and to go to different schools in so many years. So, for Chandler and Pribula, if those 2 guys are active on the roster, it's either do or die. You either play, you're going to lose that year of eligibility, and then it's on to the next level. For Chandler, I I think it's going to be competition. I know Chandler's ready for it. Chandler's very comfortable, very confident, and he's been in the system for a year, so he kind of knows. Not kind of. He knows what the offense is and how it's ran and how it should be ran. Pribula, a bigger, stronger quarterback, maybe even a little bit of a stronger arm, maybe even a little bit more of an athletic runner. I'm not going to say he's quicker than Chandler, but he's maybe a little bit more of he's a bigger, stronger runner. But I don't think he's quite as quick as Chandler, but I think he's kind of fast. But I think it'll be a really good opportunity to see what this spring has to offer. And think about it, spring football is currently going on right now, and as spring football is going on, if he's approved, will Chandler pretty much run out of court, put on his helmet, put on his shells, and go out there and just start practicing right away? That's what I want to know. I want to speak to some of my media folks and say, are they going to be out there, at the court? Actually, I will do that. I'm going to make a note of that, call some of my media folks and say, if Chandler is granted eligibility, do you think he's going to run straight to the school and pretty much, dress out, and put on his gear and get ready to go? I hope he does. I think that'd be phenomenal. I think it's something that, that we all want to see, a player who really wants to play football, really wants to be here, and has a, and has that desire to continue to progress the program. Those are the kind of kids, kind of players you need to continue the success. When you have players that have that kind of an attitude about your program, where they want to be there and they're fighting for eligibility. And when they go and they get it, they go and they go gung-ho with it, and, they keep pushing it. And then you got competition. So everybody's pushing towards the same goal. That's what the coaches preach. And I think that, if he gets that eligibility, extra year of eligibility, we're going to see see that position elevate again. I know Chandler elevated it when he came, but I think if you have 3 starting caliber quarterbacks going for that one position, and it comes down to Pribula and Chandler, I think they're going to be playing at a higher level than Chandler played at last year, and I'm looking forward to that. So, prayers, fingers crossed for Chandler. Let's see what happens on Thursday. And I want to see if he gets the eligibility. Will he run out to the stadium? Will he, drive to the equipment, get to the equipment manager and give me, I think someone's wearing his number as well, So let's see what happens. Looks like I got one of my co-hosts jumping in here. Got my man Ed in the house. How you doing, Ed?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just going over what happens if Chandler gets the 3rd year. I said, and I'm gonna call some of my media folks after this show. I was saying I want some predictions from some folks. What do they think is going to happen? I said, and if he gets the year of eligibility granted, will he run straight to the equipment manager and be like, all right, suit me up, man, let's go? I want to see that.
I suspect he would.
Well, I'm thinking because we're in the middle of spring practice, he wants to get in on that competition like right away. So I think I want to, and I bet you some media folks, and I was going to call them when we're done here and see what they say. Are they going to be like in the media van, like old school days, following, the star quarterback or whoever, the star player, to see if he's actually going to be if he's going to suit up or he's going to be on the sideline or whatever. That's one thing that I that I miss being so far away from Charlottesville, because I would be out there. I would want to check on him and see if he gets it, what's going to happen. But give me your opinion. You go ahead and elaborate on.
Is practice open?
No.
Okay. I was saying, well, I could wander up there, but if I'm not allowed in, that might not be the best idea. I think, kind of like I said, I think it was last week. it's a good problem to have. I think it hasn't been that long ago that we were, we didn't have three choices. Sometimes we didn't have two choices.
We didn't have one choice, really.
Yeah, it was like, who's it going to be?
We were arguing about how Calandria needs to make, less mistakes, and for us to have a chance to win.
You could make mistakes when you're a freshman. When you're a sophomore, no, you can't. You can't. At least not the same mistakes. I like I said last week, I think if Morris is successful and comes back, I don't see how you don't make him the number one. It's we're kind of in uncharted territory here, but I feel like, Parcells would always say you don't lose your job due to injury. I'm not sure what the courts would have to do with that, but it's like I said, I think he's the starter, and you just have to be honest and forthright with the other two guys and say, here's the deal. If you came back next year, you'd expect me to be loyal to you. Well, I have to be loyal to him. And if they're not on board with that, then that's just how it goes. But I would point out that you're always one play away from being in the game. So
you really are.
It's you stay and fight it out, or you can transfer again. But at some point in time, I feel like you kind of have to stand and fight. But I might just be a grumpy old man. I don't know.
Well, I said, I think that the competition is what makes these what makes teams great. When you have a lot of talent on top of talent.
Yeah, what's the old phrase? Steel sharpens steel.
That's right. Or iron. There we go. Iron sharpens iron. And, they keep going at each other, and, the best man may win. Thing about it is, and I was saying, with the way that they're drilling down on transfer portal, they're not going to allow these two guys one is on his 6th or 7th year of eligibility. Bo Prabula, I believe, is on his 4th and 5th year of eligibility. The NCAA is not going to grant these guys any more.
Yeah, at some point in time, they're going to say no.
But they're tightening. They're tightening it up now. So they've already taken away one transfer portal window. So the next year they're not going to. Now they're going to clamp down. They're trying to make it so that you can only transfer once, and these guys only have 1 year left of eligibility, so they better play. So I believe they're going to let them guys go at it and go after it.
It continues to amaze me. They've made such a hash of this transfer portal and NLI and all of that fun stuff. It would be nice to see them get ahead of the ball one time and just say, okay, here's the deal. You can transfer once without penalty. When you transfer the second time, you have to sit or pay your own way, maybe. A walk-on can get NLI money, can't they?
I wouldn't see why they couldn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could still pay them NLI money, but they're going to have to pay their own way. So you're already seeing ways that you can game the system. So it's it really does. It's aggravating because it does. I don't think it had to be like this. I think they just kept kicking the can down the road, and grumpy old men. And they're not going to let a bunch of kids tell them how they're going to run their sport. So there's ways to get in front of this, but they just seem to be content to sit back and collect a check. So
yeah. So what's your opinion? Okay, Ethan. He said, we're totally offset.
We've done that.
Yeah, well, we're totally off schedule, Ethan. You gotta.
Yeah, really.
Let's get back in on the.
If he'd show up for practice, he'd know that.
Well, let's talk about that later.
Okay.
Because that is
What,
something.
Ethan not showing up for practice? Fine by me.
No, we'll talk about maybe the Raiders. Going.
Okay. No, like I said, I think Morris is your starter. Um, and with it Prisbilla,
Pribula.
Prabula.
Mm-hmm.
If he's on board with that, super, great, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The other kid's got 2 years of eligibility, so you know, sit back, let absorb the system,
Mm-hmm.
and next year, you would, the Pribula is only going to have 1 year left, so if he struggles, it's logical to assume that they would turn to the guy that's going to be here for the next 2 years. So
Right.
I mean, I think, yeah, I think this is one of those deals where they're going to have to bet on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever whatever, if they feel like it's not for them, then if you don't want to be here, don't go. But I think they would both be better off staying and watching. Maybe they can redshirt. Who knows?
Right. Right.
I mean, it could happen. Um, and then whether you're here or you're somewhere else, you would still have that year of eligibility. You wouldn't have burned it. Maybe doing part-time duty at East Podunk Tech or something like that. Um, so I mean, I think you need to bet on yourself and be a little strategic as far as waiting for your opportunity, believing in yourself.
Well, I think that we're both in agreement. I think that he's going to get it, and if he does, I want to see what he's going to do right with it. Will he
Yeah.
run straight to the field? Will he be on the sidelines? Will he be dressed out? Will he get his number back? Because I believe his number is being used by someone else. So yeah, so that's
We'll have to work something out.
absolutely, absolutely. So, let's get to the next segment: women's and men's basketball. Men's
Okay.
basketball double their win total, man. This is an appreciation thread a little bit, but they doubled their win total. They went from 15 wins to 30 wins, and then they went the football team went
Yeah.
from 5 wins to 11 wins.
Yeah.
So right with that, what do we do we think they'll fall back? Is the question. Will they fall back?
There might be some regression. I mean, it's not often that you win 31 games. It's nobody here has ever won 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, would I expect them to fall back a little bit? They might. This is another one of those deals where it might be a better team, but the record doesn't reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
I like we've said many times here before. I think anyone at Virginia that goes into a season saying we could win the national title is
Right.
you're smoking something. But like we were saying with the quarterbacks, a bounce here, a bounce there, and who knows? It could happen. It probably won't, but it could.
Right. It could.
So you come in, you bust your butt, and maybe the chances come your way. If they don't, we did the best we could. Just because you didn't make the national title game doesn't mean it's a failure. We'll leave that to Alabama and Georgia. So it's like I said, it's is a 9-2 team worse than an 11-1 team? I don't think so. If the basketball team only wins 28 games, are they a bad team? I don't think so. It's what's the old expression? There's lies, damned lies, and statistics.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want the numbers to say? We can play with the numbers and make them say pretty much anything you want. But yeah, I mean, I'm not getting caught up in the record so much as does it pass the eye test? Does it pass the sniff test? if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a pretty good football team.
Right.
So, it's I think I I'm hoping we've turned a corner, but there's no way to know that until probably
Well, the thing
late
is,
November.
this team could be better. And I'm just saying that based off of
Certainly could be, yeah.
the trenches up front offensively. We have all the offensive line coming back, and frankly, the best offensive lineman who was supposed to play last year didn't even play. So with Monroe Mills coming back, the offensive line could actually be better than what it was last year because all the starters are coming back. All the guys who played and started, most of them are here. And then you throw in, and also another player who didn't play, who was going to be a starter, didn't play. And then Monroe Mills, you add him, who a player who is the best tackle pretty much in the portal coming to Virginia, who didn't play, who will be healthy again and playing that tackle position. And then the quarterback competition, I mean, I think Chandler's going to be better. If Chandler gets here and he wins the job, I think he'll be better than he was last year. I think Bo Pribula is a better quarterback than possibly what Chandler was last year. And then the guy who came in from Pitt, he's a starting caliber quarterback. So there's a lot of good things to look at. I mean, we are a little lacking at wide receiver right now. In my opinion, because of what's going on with the start from last year. But we did have a lot of guys come back. Now, like Ethan made a statement here on my guy Peyton Lewis, that the running back room could possibly be better, believe it or not.
Yeah, with any luck, we might not have to throw it all.
Well, if Peyton Lewis plays up to his standard, based off what he is, he's a freaking animal.
Is he? I've never seen him. Never seen him play.
Big, he's fast. He's a track guy. He has track level speed. Coming out of high school, he was one of the top sprinters in the state his junior and senior year, coming out of high school, out of Salem. I believe Salem High School, and he wound up going to Tennessee. Was the third string back. Ran for about 200-300 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he's to be the third string back in an SEC program and to get those kind of numbers, that's a big deal. Coming to Virginia, as much as we love to run the ball, I think it's a great idea and a great opportunity for him to get here, get a lot of carries, just like we did with Jamari, and and let's see how it shakes out.
Yeah, feed him till he drops.
What's going on, Shane? Thank you for tuning in, brother. That's right. He was a huge pickup.
Feed him till he drops. Next man up.
One in track in a national level. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And he's big. And he's a big kid. He's like 6 feet, 6'1", 215-ish. I'm thinking. Maybe a little bigger. 210.
Late in the game, you're not going to be excited about stepping in front of that.
Not at all. Not at all. Then we still have 3 returners. We got X. Who tore his leg up, but was a difference maker. Xavier's coming back. We got oh my goodness, what's his name? The young
the freshman, yeah. I can't think of his name.
And you got Noah coming back as well. So when you have those 3 coming back, Peyton Lewis, then they picked up 2 other running backs from one from Middle Tennessee State and another running back. It's kind of like a scat back. From another, I think mid-major school. I think the running backs are going to be very solid, very good, and we, like you say, we may run the ball, even more than we did last year.
Yeah,
but
and I'm totally okay with that. I'm a Showtime Lakers fan, but there's the old adage in football: 3 things can happen when you throw the ball, and 2 of them are bad.
2 of them are bad. That's right.
So, I turned around and handed it off to the next back up, whoever that is.
Mm-hmm. And then we got a line and I think they have made. If you saw a hype video, kind of from the offensive lineman, I don't know if you had a chance to see it.
No, I haven't yet.
And it was the offensive line coach. He was talking about the the offensive line and what we want to do, and he had a couple of the other players talk about as well. I think he had Monroe Mills say something, and another. They said we want to establish the line. We want to dominate the line of scrimmage. We want to,
I love it.
strike first. I'm like,
I love it.
oh, that sounds so good to me. I said that makes me really, really feel, gives me goosebumps when I hear an offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And then we have the horses to back it up. We have the players who did it last year, who knows, and they know that they can do it again.
Yeah.
With all these guys coming back, as long as you got guys who can tote the rock,
And that's the trick to building a successful program is you get that tradition, that expectation. We're going to run the ball,
right?
And if you don't like it, well, that's unfortunate.
Good luck. Then my man, then you talk about the defensive side. We did add quite a few pieces on the defensive end. Cam is back, healthy. Hopefully, he'll, with his all-world, all ACC kind of a talent all over the field.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him. I'm a Cam guy, to my core. Yeah. And I think
he's a lot of fun to watch.
He really is. He's everywhere, and they use him in every different way. Coach Rudzik uses him all over the place. He'll blitz inside, blitz outside. He'll play coverage. He'll play man to man on tight ends, backs out in the flat. I mean, he does absolutely everything. He's your quintessential outside backer, hybrid kind of a guy.
Yeah.
For the next level.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, the game has evolved so much. It's almost like flag football. Except you don't get yelled at if you tackle somebody. You need, there's more of an emphasis on playing in space.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can be the biggest guy in the world, but if you can't move,
can't tackle,
you're no good to anybody. You can't.
That's right.
You can't tackle what you can't catch.
That's right.
Not to say that there isn't a role for the big fellas, but their window of contribution is gonna narrow a little bit. I was watching one of the Raiders Super Bowls the other day, and Matt Millen was shown playing in one of the games, and I remember thinking, that's a big linebacker. But then I looked at his stats, and he was like 250 ish.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at some of the guys that are playing now, and they're 250 and better, and they don't run like those guys back in the 80s and 90s. They run like track guys. They don't run like football players.
Well, you look at Washington with Bobby Wagner. That's case in point right there. If you ever watch Washington play,
yeah,
a lot of times the offensive coordinator for the opposite team will scheme around to get Bobby Wagner in one-on-one situations where he has to cover in space. Now don't get close to Bobby, because Bobby's going to bring you down. But you get him in space and make him have to run in the flats, and guys doing wheel routes around him, in coverage, they're just running by him. So you got to be very versatile in these times in the world of college and pro football. But let's see what this team has to offer. We had two cornerbacks who starting caliber that didn't even play last year, so those guys should be back.
Yeah, if those guys can stay, and it's I think it's got to be on everybody's spring football bingo card. If we can just stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line at times was a strength, but when you start shuffling guys around and you move your left guard this week and your right guard next week, or maybe you're the center. I think people think you're just flipping from left tackle to right tackle. You're still a tackle.
No way.
No, you're asked to do different things as a general rule.
Totally exact opposite.
Yeah,
And
I
based on how you run your offense, it could be opposite, but it also could be it could be different from the way of, they run a lot of quick stuff on one side and a lot of power stuff on the other.
yeah,
So
because
you know what I mean? The
the guy on
philosophy,
the left is really quick, but he's not
right,
the biggest guy,
right,
and the
but
guy
the
on the right
power
is
is on the
just
right,
the guy
right.
on the right has just got
So,
a
so
major attitude and eats raw meat.
right, so you could flip, but and so you have to mirror whatever you're doing from right side to left. But then the mentality of what you do has to also kind of match. So if you're
Yeah,
flipping, you're like, well, I'm really not a mauler, but I have to be a mauler when I'm really a cat. You know what I mean?
your guards have to be maulers.
Yeah,
I will believe that to my dying day.
sure,
Uh,
sure,
your left tackle is
absolutely,
probably your best athlete, and the center really should be the smartest guy of the group
for sure, for sure.
because he's got to figure out protections and such.
Yep, yep. But yeah, so the we gotta give kudos to the women's basketball
Oh
team as
yes,
well, who I think they won 14 last year. Now they won 22 games,
yeah, it was over 20.
and with the Sweet 16 bid, had
Well,
us all. I love it. I don't think
yeah.
they're gonna fall back. They're still gonna have
No,
composure.
they're losing a lot. I was looking at that this afternoon. They're losing a lot. Probably the one that hurts the most is Paris Clark.
Yeah, the true
I mean,
guard. She can shoot, man.
she can shoot, and she's also been able
Alleviate some pressure.
to let. Well, she's an extra ball handler, but she's also been able to give Kimura a blow every once in a while to come in and run the point for a little while.
Right.
That's not her strength, but she can do it, and you don't lose a whole lot.
Well, they have a freshman that they bought her in, especially later in the year, and she was playing a lot of that point.
Yeah. Oh crap! What's the child's name?
There's also we're gonna miss Romy.
Yes.
As well. She's like the glue, man. I love
that girl was cold-blooded.
Yeah, man. I love how she played. I love her attitude, and she did a lot of like versatile things. She would play like she was like their top defender on the perimeter. And
she also had a knack for stepping up and making big threes.
Yeah. Or
if you needed to stop a run,
she made a lot of mid-range shots as well.
Yeah, she was a really good third scorer, but I noticed. Oh, what's the big girl, the transfer from Princeton, Amanze.
Mm-hmm.
She became much more of an offensive threat towards the end of the season, and that's kind of when the team really started to really gel. When she became somebody you had to account for. You can't just load up on the perimeter. You've got to account for her. I think she comes back.
Does Amanze come back?
I think she has another year. I may be wrong on that, but I think she has another year.
Make me check really quick.
Shemaiah Smith really came on down the stretch. My wife and I were watching some of the games. Where have you been all year? But looking back on it now, that win against Notre Dame, I think, was probably bigger than we really thought at the time.
Manze's a senior.
Is she?
Yep. Paris Clark's a senior.
Dang it.
Yeah. Kamora's a junior. Romy Levy's a senior.
Well, you'll have
Olivia McGee's a junior.
She'll be back. She redshirted this year. She
Ring is a sophomore.
Messed up her ankle.
Samaya Smith,
yeah.
She's a junior. Caitlin Weimer, she's a senior. That's
graduate student.
And Gabby White, that's the other.
That's the girl I was trying to think of. I think her mom is somehow affiliated with the
North Carolina.
Carolina women's team.
Yep, mom's a coach there.
Oh, is she? I wasn't sure if she was a coach or what the deal was. I know that they had something for her during, was it breast cancer awareness?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they had their KEL game.
Man, we're losing a ton.
Yeah, we are. But it's You're gonna have Olivia McGee for a full year. Uh, Brianna Hurd started to show herself. Uh, those two at the top of that zone can really be a problem because uh, they're both, what is it, 6'2", 6'3", something like that, but
Mm-hmm.
really, really long arms.
It could also be some of those girls that are there's like 6 or 7 girls that are seniors, and about 4 or 5 of them played a lot. It could be something. Maybe some of those senior girls get a grad year and
Could
possibly
be,
come back again. That'd be
could be.
something to be
Um,
interested in to see if we can come back. Hey,
yeah.
what's going on, Amy? She said baseball season. Yes, and you know what, Amy? The Orioles just lost, and I'm upset about that.
Way to go, Amy.
No, Amy's is uh, donated some balls to my baseball camp. Really appreciate that. Thank you for having my guy on the phone today, talking with him about the camp and how it's kind of
That's
done.
what, the 25th,
Yep,
April 25th.
April 25th. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you wouldn't want people getting the idea Amy was nice.
Uh, right.
I
Well,
understand, Amy. I got you.
but yeah. I think that the girls are gonna jump back at it and be another. Gonna have a tough year. You're gonna have Kimura come back, your top scorer, and she's gonna run that team. And I think they really need to reload, and get the front court
Yeah,
uh, back because they really did a heck of a job, a hell of a job. Shot blocking. You had 6'4", 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", 6'2", 6'4". I mean, those girls were absolutely animals on the back end. Shot blocking and contesting shots, and that
yeah.
was definitely
You know,
a welcome sight to see on the defensive end. And they started to hit their stride at the end, obviously.
yeah. Like I
You
said, that
know.
that that Notre Dame win was probably a little bigger than we gave it credit for because they really seemed after that they started playing together.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wasn't feeling it one night, somebody else stepped up. It was great to see.
Well,
You
I'm
knew it
interested
was
to see who
there.
comes in. I'm interested to see who comes in now. Coach, one thing about Coach Mox, she gets players to come to UVA.
Yeah.
A couple of those girls came from big programs. One from LSU. One of them has a championship title, playing at LSU, and a couple other
Oh
girls. So
yeah.
I'm interested to see what girls she'll get to come back to play with Kimura next year. So, but I think that they'll reload. I don't think they're going to take a step back. I think
Yeah.
22 wins might be, or 20 wins might be the floor for them, and whatever else
Yeah.
they
I
do
think
after
so.
that. Yeah, whatever they do after that, especially with Kimura going to her senior year.
Well,
Um,
the impressive thing about that young lady, when she first came here, she started doing stuff that I had not seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna mention the name, but I do remember a first year coming in and throwing these no look passes, and they would clank off of her teammates' hands because they didn't they didn't expect that stuff. They just
Right,
they thought they thought she was going to the bucket to lay it up. She didn't think they were going to kick it
right.
out and for an open three. So she's still a scoring threat, but Mo has become so much more of a leader.
Yep,
Um,
she
those
has.
the girls look to her. Um, so that's a shame. TCU got their tails handed to them. Good. Um, that's it's just to see the growth and the development in
Yeah,
in her. But like I said, she started doing things that I hadn't seen in a while. Um, and if pressed to answer the question, yeah, have I seen better in recent history? No,
yeah,
no. I mean, and that's no slight to the girls that have come before. It's just she does stuff naturally.
yeah.
It sort of reminds me of Magic Johnson. She does stuff instinctively, and how does you're looking at how does she do that?
I
She
tell
just
you what.
does.
I tell you what. The girl at TCU is Magic Johnson.
Is
She
she?
has she the girl that beat them, the point guard for them was
Uh-huh.
go back and watch that game.
Okay.
She is phenomenal. She got so much of she got a lot of Magic Johnson in her game.
Did we just not have anybody for her?
No sir, no, we
So
had nothing,
was it a matchup
nothing.
deal?
Yes, yes, and then their big person, their big man, their big girl down low was
Yeah,
phenomenal. She was unstoppable. She could shoot the three, but
that's not fair.
them two together put me in the mind of Stockton and Malone.
Oh.
Yeah, they had a lot. They had pick and roll. They would they would give the point guard would give the ball to her in favorable areas. They were the top two scoring duos in the tournament. The girl she had like 34 on us. The big girl down low, and then
Yeah.
the point guard had like another 28 or something and 9 assists, and it was crazy. You just watch
Yeah.
the game, man. Watch the
Okay.
game.
I'll go back and look at it. I've
Yeah, they're
watched the
phenomenal.
highlights, but I didn't watch the whole game.
Yeah,
We'll have to
yeah.
remedy that.
Yeah, it was a good game to watch because you really learn like where the weaknesses were and what our girls tried to do to
Yeah.
stop.
Well,
They were
that's
just really good. They had never that TCU team would have won the ACC. Hands down.
one of those deals where you're they're playing those tough teams early.
Mm-hmm.
Can really make a difference come tournament time. I know who was it? Denny Crum, Terry Holland. A lot of those guys would intentionally schedule a tough road game in like
Right.
January or February. Like why were we playing Louisville with Dr. Duncanstein?
Right.
Because you're going to see a guy like this in the tournament.
No doubt about it.
You're gonna have to face a hostile crowd in the tournament. You're gonna have to make free throws in clutch time. And
you think about it, they did a little bit of that with Ohio State.
Yeah,
going to the Big Ten and playing in the big,
that's why I
Nashville.
I do like these challenges, these Big Ten challenges, that sort of thing.
I do too.
It's good for the game, and it's good for your team. It shows you where you need. We're fond of saying you learn more from losses than you do from wins.
That's true.
So
it's true.
If you play like crap and you lose a close game on the road, then coach doesn't need to remind you about cleaning stuff up and not having silly turnovers or taking crazy shots.
That's right.
You've seen it.
That's right. Yeah, man. So just a congratulatory segment for the women's basketball team, men's and football and basketball. So let's see if they can keep it going. Hopefully they don't fall back. I think all of them programs are reloading, and I think with the funds that they have, reallocating them, for what I understand, they have they had to be reallocating and reloading because they announced officially that there's an NIL coach or NIL leader for the university, which apparently he has been in his role since November or October last year. So it's been going on, and his job is to go out and get NIL deals and bring them back from whatever institution or company or whatever, bring them back to the school and get the kids involved so that you can still keep generating extra money.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I really liked about UVA's approach was that you're not just throwing money at the kids. That it's you're if anybody follows Elton Brown on Facebook, he was saying today that it's not just about earning the money, it's about keeping the money.
Right. That's right.
That's right. I didn't realize he got to play with Kobe, but
yep. So they have they made it official.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Carla Williams was on did an interview with him, and let everybody know we have NIL here, and that was pretty much for the students who are thinking about coming to UVA. Say, hey,
it's part of the business.
System in place. We got a system in place. So come on and get in.
We're just following the rules.
That's right. Come on in to UVA, and we'll
get you a degree that will still get people's attention.
Right, and still put
and
some
maybe,
money in your pocket.
maybe put some coin in your pocket.
So yeah, but I think that's all the topics for today, man.
Okay,
Appreciate you jumping on.
sure.
Anything else that you wanted
Um,
to say here in closing? I see
just
you got the slide on there.
yeah, we're playing. I thought it was uh, this Sunday. It's next Sunday, the 5th, playing Emory.
Okay. Okay.
So this is our first Final Four, and now obviously our first championship game. So
Okay.
we're small, but we're excited.
But we're mighty. Okay.
No, we're not
Yeah.
lying. One of my favorite things in the bookstore is there's a T-shirt that says Mary Washington football undefeated
Mm-hmm.
since 1908.
Oh wow. So they ain't played that long.
Yeah, we don't have a team.
I want to say in closing is, let's support these kids. Let's support Chandler, especially if he gets an opportunity to come back. I know a lot of people say, let's just move on. Let's just move on. You know, I'm a coach where just my opinion on it is I'm elated that we got Pribula,
Yeah,
but I also like the fact that a quarterback that led us to 11 wins. And I know we ran the
you
ball a lot, but we don't get there without his play and
right.
his guts.
Him
So
scrambling around, extending plays. It's
exactly taking hits.
yeah.
I
You don't beat Florida State without him,
no, we
and
don't beat a lot of those teams without him.
that got everything rolling.
Look, we should have beat Wake Forest, but they hit him, a dirty hit, knocked him out. We would have won that game without him.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
ifs and buts.
yeah. But my thing is, let's see what happens with Chandler. Let's support Chandler. Make sure that we check him out on the
Hey, if he's the guy, he's the guy.
yeah.
End of
Let's
story.
see what happens.
None of
But
this. Well, we got this shiny new quarterback. No, this guy led us to 11 wins. That ought to count for something.
yeah, it does. I think so.
It better.
But that's it for the show, everybody. I thank all you viewers for hanging out with us and chilling with us for this hour of power, and
hour of power, huh?
yeah, because we usually go over, but we're right there at 57 minutes.
I thought maybe you're going to compare it to the what was it? What was that group? The Tower of Power?
Oh, look at look at
the horn section.
Look at James with the nuggets. Look, he says, since the trial is here in good old Charlottesville, I'm guessing the judge and lawyer that he has
don't count on it, but it's reasonable to think along those lines anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what happens, man.
Do they have a law school at UVA? Huh. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Things you learn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking this afternoon, I haven't heard anything about that. The trial is supposed to be what? Next month?
No, Thursday.
This Thursday.
Yeah.
I thought I knew Chandler's I know the two James. I thought that I knew Chandler's case was Thursday, but is the rape case?
Oh no,
Thursday as well.
I think they're still going with that.
Okay,
they're still working on that. But Chandler's Thursday, and that's what we're looking at here. So we'll see how it shakes out, though.
3 good quarterbacks is a good problem to have.
He's a top law school. There you go.
Can't type. It's okay.
That's it.
That's okay. My daughter says I should have a T-shirt that says "Spell check is not your friend." So,
right.
I've psoriatic arthritis sucks. I'm having to fix stuff all the time. I feel your pain, James.
So let's check him out. Let's see what happens on this Thursday in court, and let's see what media folks say that are out there covering it. Yeah. But we got to thank you again for hanging out with us and joining us, everybody. It's always fun. But let's see what happens as spring practice continues to roll on, and let's see what happens with Chandler on Thursday. and let's see what the recruits are looking like for basketball season. I know
Yeah,
the
you need
letter
to,
said that he may come back, and but we'll get into that the more information we get
you know
for
what
the
we need.
coming back season.
You know what
Huh?
we need?
What?
We need some time with Jackie.
Yeah, and we will. I'll hit her up and we'll get some time with that.
Okay.
But yeah, we want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. But as of now, this shop is closed.
Bye.
Thank you guys.